Columbia, Missouri, a town known for its rolling hills and vibrant energy, home to the prestigious University of Missouri. Students bustled about, their laughter echoing through the streets, oblivious to the darkness lurking around the corner. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows across the town, a sense of anticipation filled the air. Among them was Kent Heitholt, a respected sports editor for the Columbia Daily Tribune, enjoying a night out with a colleague. Unbeknownst to them, their casual evening would be brutally cut short, forever etching their names into the annals of Columbia's history. For as the clock ticked past 2 a.m., a sinister act unfolded in the parking lot behind the Tribune's office, forever changing the lives of those involved. Chuck Erickson, a janitor at the Columbia Daily Tribune, clocked in for his shift. It was late, well past midnight, and the Tribune's offices were eerily quiet. He made his rounds, emptying trash cans and wiping down surfaces, his thoughts drifting to the Halloween celebrations happening across town. As he passed the back parking lot, a chilling sight stopped him in his tracks. Two figures lay sprawled on the pavement beside a car, their bodies illuminated by the dim glow of the parking lot lights. Panic surged through him as he rushed towards them, his heart pounding in his chest. As he got closer, the gruesome reality of the scene became horrifyingly clear. He fumbled for his phone, his hands trembling as he dialed 911. The festive atmosphere of Halloween had been shattered, replaced by a chilling sense of dread that would permeate the air in Columbia for years to come. The first responders arrived to a scene of chaos. The parking lot, once a place of mundane commutes and hurried deadlines, was now cordoned off with yellow tape, flashing lights painting the asphalt in hues of red and blue. Detectives, their faces grim, swarmed the area, their every move documented by the glare of news cameras. The victim, identified as Kent Heitholt, lay lifeless on the ground, his body covered by a white sheet that did little to disguise the brutality of his murder. The air crackled with tension as investigators meticulously combed the area for clues. Every cigarette butt, every stray fiber held the potential to unlock the mystery of Heitholt's death. The brutality of the crime sent shockwaves through the community. Columbia, once a beacon of peace and tranquility, was now held captive by the grip of an unsolved murder. The investigation dragged on, and with each passing day, the mystery surrounding Kent Heitholt's murder deepened. The lack of a suspect fueled rampant speculation, and soon whispers of a possible conspiracy began to circulate. Rumors spread like wildfire through the bars and coffee shops of Columbia, each retelling adding a new layer of intrigue and suspicion. The name Ryan Ferguson, a student at the University of Missouri, surfaced during the investigation. His friend Charles Erickson had mentioned Ferguson's presence at a Halloween party they attended on the night of the murder. Despite Ferguson's adamant denials and the lack of physical evidence linking him to the crime scene, the prosecution pressed on. The once unthinkable scenario of a promising young student being accused of such a heinous crime became a chilling reality, casting a long shadow over the pursuit of justice. The courtroom buzzed with anticipation as Charles Erickson took the stand. His testimony was erratic, riddled with gaps and inconsistencies that betrayed the fragility of his memory. He claimed to have vague recollections of that night, flashes of images that pointed to Ryan Ferguson's involvement in the murder. Under the intense scrutiny of the courtroom, Erickson crumbled under the weight of his own words. I think Ryan did it," he stammered, his voice barely a whisper. The courtroom erupted in gasps and murmurs. The prosecution seized upon his words, twisting them into a damning confession. Ferguson, his face pale with a mix of anger and disbelief, vehemently denied the accusations. The jury, swayed by the prosecution's portrayal of Ferguson as a remorseless killer, delivered a guilty verdict. The sentence was swift and severe, 40 years in prison. The air in the courtroom hung heavy with tension as Ryan Ferguson, his hands shackled, stood before the judge. His youthful face, now etched with years of anguish and despair, betrayed the toll that his wrongful imprisonment had taken. His family, their faces etched with a mixture of grief and defiance, watched from the gallery, their hopes clinging to the possibility of an appeal. Defense attorney Kathleen Zellner, known for her unwavering commitment to justice, presented a compelling case for Ferguson's release. She meticulously dismantled the prosecution's narrative, exposing the flaws in their evidence and highlighting the lack of any credible link between Ferguson and the murder. The judge, faced with the daunting task of righting a decade-old wrong, listened intently to both sides. The fate of Ryan Ferguson, once again, hung in the balance. For Bill Ferguson, Ryan's father, the fight for his son's freedom became an all-consuming mission. He dedicated his life to proving Ryan's innocence, tirelessly pursuing every lead, every witness, every piece of evidence that could chip away at the prosecution's case. His determination, fueled by an unbreakable bond with his son, never wavered, even in the face of seemingly insurmountable obstacles. Bill spent countless hours poring over case files, contacting witnesses, and organizing rallies to raise awareness about his son's plight. His efforts, though often met with resistance and indifference, slowly began to turn the tide. Media attention, once focused on the prosecution's narrative, shifted to the growing chorus of voices questioning the verdict. The case of Ryan Ferguson became a rallying cry for justice reform, exposing the fallibility of the legal system and the devastating consequences of wrongful convictions. Within the cold, unforgiving walls of the Jefferson City Correctional Center, Ryan Ferguson endured the nightmare of wrongful imprisonment. Every day was a struggle to maintain his sanity, to cling to the belief that justice would eventually prevail. The years stretched before him, a bleak and uncertain future stolen by a system that had failed him. Yet amidst the despair, Ryan found strength in unexpected places. He immersed himself in books, devouring knowledge and finding solace in the written word. He formed bonds with other inmates, sharing stories of hope and resilience. Through it all, the love and support of his family served as a lifeline, a beacon of light piercing through the darkness of his confinement. A decade after his wrongful conviction, a glimmer of hope emerged for Ryan Ferguson. Kathleen Zellner, a renowned defense attorney known for her unwavering commitment to justice, took on his case. Armed with a reputation for overturning wrongful convictions, she meticulously reviewed every detail, every piece of evidence, every misstep that had led to this grave miscarriage of justice. Zellner's investigation uncovered a trail of prosecutorial misconduct, coerced witnesses, and a blatant disregard for the truth. Her courtroom presence was a force to be reckoned with, her arguments sharp and precise, dismantling the prosecution's case piece by piece. Public pressure mounted, forcing the courts to confront the uncomfortable truth that an innocent man had been unjustly imprisoned. On November 5, 2013, the Missouri Court of Appeals overturned Ryan Ferguson's conviction, citing egregious prosecutorial misconduct and a reckless disregard for the truth. After 10 long years, justice had finally prevailed. The courtroom erupted in cheers as Ryan Ferguson, a free man at last, embraced his family. The years of wrongful imprisonment had taken their toll, etching lines of hardship on his face and a weariness in his eyes. Yet amidst the joy and relief, there was a palpable sense of anger, a recognition that the system had failed him in the most profound way. 10 years of his life, his youth, his dreams had been stolen. While no amount of compensation could ever truly make amends for the years lost, Ferguson was determined to rebuild his life. He spoke out about his ordeal, becoming an advocate for criminal justice reform, fighting to ensure that what happened to him would not happen to others. His story served as a stark reminder of the fallibility of the justice system, the devastating consequences of wrongful convictions, and the urgent need for reform. The case of Ryan Ferguson, though ultimately a victory for justice, stands as a chilling reminder of the flaws that plague our legal system. It serves as a stark reminder that the pursuit of justice is not always straightforward, that the scales can be tipped by ambition, prejudice, and a disregard for the truth. Ferguson's ordeal is a call to action, a demand for accountability, and a plea for reform. The need for comprehensive criminal justice reform is undeniable. From addressing prosecutorial misconduct to ensuring adequate legal representation, there is much work to be done. We must demand better from our justice system. The fight for justice does not end with the release of an innocent person from prison. Only then can we truly say that we live in a society that values justice for all.